can you see this person's perspective, but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
We are not going to stay in a victim mindset. We've got a special guest who will be joining us in a little bit. Margie Singleton will be joining us. I met Margie. First of all, hi, Teri.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm loopy today.
We've just been having a big old long conversation, so I just kind of felt like we would just continue in there. So I was like,
that's what we do. We real, y'all. We real. And today we're going to talk about grief and loss, and it is a tough conversation. Do you want to set it up today, Teri?
Well, Margie's going to be on the show with us to share her experience of grief and loss and how we also can navigate through that. Because as we know, grief is a very individual experience for everyone. I don't want to give too much away about, what Margie's going to share with us, but we're just all, as we normally do, going to bounce back and forth, answering questions. So if you guys have questions, please, 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 today is the day. Put them in the comments and send them our way, because we want to make sure that it is a heavy topic. We want to make sure we answer questions, also keeping in mind that one answer for one person is not a one size fits all. Because let's be real, we know one size does not fit all.
They say it.
I own some of them clothes, and that ain't true.
I know. It may fit something.
Right, my leg.
It won't fit all of me if I wear it as a nice hat.
That's right.
A jaunty chapeau. But
right. So there we have it. And Margie will be here in just a few minutes. I think she's getting earbutted up and logged on. So that'll be fun.
Elizabeth's joining us. If you are, wherever you are, if you will log on, let us know where you are so you can join in the conversation. We are on YouTube on the Main Street Today page every week on Wednesdays. We also have an Instagram page, and Teri keeps that up with all sorts of nice little nuggets for your day. Teri has clients, and she's going to be talking with a client right after we finish this. So we're going to have to kind of keep things. We can't go long like we sometimes do.
Well, Teri also wears cheaters, which is also, we call them readers. And she spent about 5 minutes looking for her readers before she went on the air today. So she grabbed her blue pair. And as Elizabeth popped on to say hi, I said, well, damn, there they are right there. So yes, everyone, I know that I have 2 sets of readers. This is a normal look for me.
I know. So. I came on with 3 pair. I walked in today. I must have been afraid I was going to forget them because I had 3 pair hanging from my, and I showed up and I looked, I go, oh Lord, I wore my horse watering hoodie. But y'all, it is what it is. We give each other grace. We give each other grace.
And Elizabeth, I love passing out nuggets. So I'm so glad that you love the Teri nuggets.
It's fantastic.
They're so much healthier for you than the McDonald's nuggets. But I ain't judging. I've had a few McDonald's nuggets too in my life. So,
Yeah. I will say that I got food poisoning at one time in my life. And it was from a peanut butter. It was some peanut butter had salmonella, and I got salmonella. Anyway, when I got out of it, the only thing that I could eat was chicken nuggets from McDonald's. It was the only thing that I could sustain. And it's like, I don't know why. I had never wanted chicken nuggets from McDonald's in my whole life. And then all of a sudden I go, must have a chicken nugget.
Must have. I did that when I was pregnant with my daughter. I wanted crystals. I didn't care if it was 6:30 in the morning. I wanted a crystal hamburger. That was my jam. And Chinese food. And oddly enough, she was born and loves both of those. So
isn't that crazy? Well, there are times when we get stressed or we get sad and we have grief. And the first thing that comforts us is either eating or not eating. Those are 2 things.
Absolutely. And what I would like while we're getting ready for Margie to join us, I would like you guys to just maybe ask yourself or just reflect on, and you can share in your comments if you want to, how did you growing up how did your family embrace grief, or did they embrace grief?
Mm.
Because depending on what generation you live in, there's well, it is what it is. God has a plan. Eat something, you'll feel better. Or, well, you just got to move on, move forward from it. Some people don't even, I work with people who have never been to a funeral because their parents just they just didn't do that. They just didn't do it. It's very how our our family life dealt with grief will play a role a lot of times in how we actually embrace it. Because when it knocks at the door, do we do that thing where we're running and peeking from the kitchen and going, it'll go away?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we really embrace it and go, you know what, this is a season that I'm going to be sitting in? And we have happy seasons, we have sad seasons, we have lots of different seasons of emotions. And when we're sitting in a season, we're not going to sit there forever, but we are forever changed as a
Ooh.
result of that season, regardless if it's a happy or a sad.
Well, Elizabeth says she reaches for the Klondike bars, the Heath flavor.
Ooh, girl,
And
I love me a
all
Heath bar.
easy for me to answer. We didn't, unless it was pleasant. We did not process it. That happens with a lot. Well, now we
Hmm.
have our very special guest ready to join us. Margie Singleton, cutie patootie, just had a
Hey,
birthday.
Margie.
Hey,
Happy birthday again.
thank you. I think everybody's so sick of my birthday. I just about am. I got sick on the last day yesterday. I thought this, I had kind of, everybody said, just do it a month. I'm done. 1 week.
One
Hey,
way.
1 week is nice.
Well,
Yeah.
people are saying good morning, Margie. Good morning, Margie.
Hey,
And
everybody, it's so good to be here and see my girls here, my Devon and Teri. We got to make another trip to get just go hire a bus just because.
I know.
Right. Get us
Oddly
all on the
enough,
bus again.
yes, we all went. We took a trip. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Margie, because we took a trip to Gatlinburg together, a whole group of people. And we're going to do that again. I've actually
Go.
talked to some of the people, and we're going to do some more visits. So if you guys want to be part, make sure that if you want to keep in touch with us, make sure you subscribe here and watch Launch Date, because maybe along with our retreat, we might even do a fun bus to somewhere and make the bus our retreat.
We'll get back either.
Girl, I
Yeah.
don't know if a fun bus can handle the three of us and others. I'm just saying. I don't
Maybe.
know. I don't know if the highways and the byways are ready for that just
Well,
yet.
we'll
But
see.
but I'm open for it. So,
Am too, Terry.
well,
Well, now
Margie,
we're going to start heavy lifting.
yes,
Heavy lifting. We're going to talk about grief. When I met Margie, she had just lost, within the last little bit, her husband, her beloved Leon Ashley. And Margie today is not Margie of that day. And Margie joins us today after losing her best friend of many years. So I'm going to let Teri start the conversation about grief, because it's two kinds of grief: your soulmate and your soulmate.
And
They,
they were
yeah,
they were both. It was almost as bad to lose Linda as it was to Leon because she was here to help me to get through it, you know. And we were bonded at the heart,
absolutely.
attached. But y'all, let me tell you something I just learned. Not only my Linda and Leon, but I just lost my longtime friend this morning, Nita Lynn Zahn. She taught me how to play the guitar when I was 18 years old,
oh,
and she
Oh
just died this
goodness.
morning. So this is a pretty bad time. You know, I mean, it's perfect for what we're doing, for the grief, the pain of loss, and the only consolation you can have is knowing I know where my Linda went. I know the last word she said to me was, "I don't want to die. I got to live so I can tell people how good Jesus has been to me. She was laying there with 50 pounds of fluid choking her heart, flooding her heart, congestive heart failure. She had suffered 8 major things in her life, from brain tumor, cancer 3 times, ruptured appendix. I mean, just major stuff, not little bitty toe aches.
Mm-hmm.
And she had scoliosis, MS.
Yes. So that's a lot. That's a lot to process as the person who is living with those, um, whether we want to call them ailments or conditions or whatever it is, pain. Bottom line, it's pain. So, Margie, the question that I have for you, and I know our viewers will be interested in hearing this because it's different for everybody, is having suffered or lived through and with 3 major losses in your life. What was that like? Were you able to process through one of them before the next one hit? And if so, how did you do that? And if not, what did you do?
You mean between Leon and Linda? Somebody
Leon, Linda,
going
and now,
outside, and I can't hear too well. You were asking me how
yes, between Leon and Linda.
well, see, it will be 8 years on the 20th of this month that Leon's been gone. So yes,
Okay.
the pain of loss is still there, but it's in the abstract. If that makes sense, I can
Okay.
look at
It
I can
absolutely makes
look at his
sense.
music and enjoy it, whereas I couldn't listen. He had this song, "Can You Live with the Way You Treated Me?" I thought he didn't write that song about me, but I took it that way when he died, and I thought, can't listen to it, but I do now. It don't matter. It wasn't about me anyway, but it might have been. You never know the inside workings of a man's brain, do you?
I don't know that we know the insides working of any of our brains. So,
Amen.
we're just evolving every day.
But
So,
yeah, with Linda, we knew that she was sick.
sure.
We knew that she couldn't walk. She had gotten wheelchair bound, and we knew that she had all this fluid on her. But they sent her to the hospital to get that fluid off. And she thought when she came back to the nursing home that that's what they did. And so that's when she said what she told me. She said, what's happening? She didn't come back there to die. She came back there to live. She thought they had the fluid off of her.
Mm.
And so that's when she said she needed to be here to tell everybody how good Jesus has been to her. So I know where she is. Yes. She went right straight to paradise with that next on the other side of the thief on the cross.
Mm.
You
Margie, one of the things that I've watched when I first met you after the loss, you were not you that you are now. And I've watched you blossom and become you again because let's face it, you did a lot of living for Leon and you became what he needed you to be. Very submissive, and a lot of people don't know. If you don't know Margie's story, Margie has been on the most famous stages in the world and has written some of the most famous songs you ever heard. And she has lived a lot of her life. I think really she became Margie in her 80s. I think that's where Margie is really just stepping into her own, recording music and doing her own thing. And your whole look changed. Your whole presence changed. Let's talk a little bit about how difficult it was to rediscover yourself without Leon, because you were a little Pentecostal lady who had not cut her hair, was wearing only dresses. Wow. What did you do to find you?
God woke me up and told me I can love him from the inside. He looks inside. He don't look at this outer shell. And everybody, my kids, my family, my godson, he'd play shows with us, and he said he thought I was in a cult or something. And I'm sorry. I love God, and I love the Pentecostal way, but they bound you. They bound women with burdens too heavy to bear, as the Bible says. And when you're bound by, I had a preacher tell one of my ladies at church recently that she was going to hell because she wore pants. And that's just what the women in Pentecostal. I hope it's changing. I know my church has. My new pastor, Kent Riddle, and his wife, she refused to dress like that. And so, therefore, he was preaching at my church for years, but she didn't come there except occasionally. And she went to somewhere else. But she'd come, but she didn't want to be bound and bring her daughter into that environment. But it was hard. My kids, they they were there to pull me through. They thought I was dying for 2 years because I did. And
Sure.
this little gospel uh, uh, CD that I did called "On the Other Side of Life." Uh, I started writing the songs for it. God gave them to me. And my girl that was here with us, helping us through this, she'd go outside and come back, and I'd have this song written. She said, "I just can't believe you. He just flooded the songs down on me." And I said, "God, you got to help me because I don't know the business of this." And He brought people to me to help me fix it. This is before my son and I got together to work musically, but he sent people to me to help me get it licensed. I didn't know nothing about that. And I put out my little gospel CD, and from there on, the fire. I have a fire in me for the music. It's just
Mhm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm
You
having
have,
somebody
Margie, I want to,
go ahead.
you have a fire in you for sure. You have a fire in you for music. And you have got, for I know that many of our listeners may not know you personally, but you have got a joy in you. You are funny. You are quick witted. You know, I met you on that infamous bus to Gatlinburg that took us 8 hours to get home that night.
Oh
And I'm
Lord,
here to
eight
tell
hours to
you,
get out of Gatlinburg. My goodness.
they didn't, the mountains didn't want us to leave. That's what it was. But you know, it was such a pleasure to meet you because doing the work that I do and knowing what you had been through with your loss with your husband. I tell people often when we talk about the season of grief and when we talk about the pain that we carry with grief, that they won't be in that space, that particular space forever. And it's so hard sometimes for people to see past that, to see that they will actually laugh again and they will tell silly jokes and they will make friends. And it's so hard sometimes for people to, and rightfully so, in the pocket of grief, to be able to see past that veil of grief. Can you share a little bit with us about your journey? And, you know, I know the cutting your hair and, you know, kind of navigating your way through your church and everything was a large part of it. Um, how was it for you? When did you recognize that you were still alive after your husband had passed? Because that joy would start to come back and you know, connecting with people and laughing again.
Well, I had a Leon's lifestyle and his religion was so different from my birth, my children, my family, my sisters, my and so consequently this divided us as a family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have felt such a guilt burden that I neglected my kids. I wasn't a good mother to them. But they tell me, Mama, we love you. You could do no wrong. But Steve doesn't. He tells me every time. Steve's the one that works with me now, and he's he's on me all the time to not say this or not say that. But that's me that you see, right, Teri? I mean, it comes. I'm me. I don't care. You know, I'm gonna be. It just comes out of me, Devon. You know it does.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things, and you know, to say that I speak for Devon and I both, I think that's one of the things, and I know your history with Devon goes way back further than mine and yours, but one of the things that we appreciate
Not too
about you
much.
so much, you know, one of the things that we appreciate about you so much is that you are you. You're real, and for all of the pain that you have had, you know, you've had the pockets, but you've also recognized that there is a passion and a purpose inside you, and there's still so much life in there. And you know, the burdens that we carry around with our guilt or our resentment or our shame or our griefs that we have, you know, I say this to people all the time, and sometimes it resonates and sometimes it doesn't, but life is just so short to carry those big rocks in our pockets. So,
Whew,
you
that's a
know,
big mouthful.
and you know, it's life is short to carry those big rocks because it slows us down and it keeps us in pain. And we're we are created to experience pain, but we're not created to be pain.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to go back and readdress that issue because there are a lot of women, and this is something aside from what we're doing. This is the grief over past mistakes.
Mm.
And we're going to bring that up because we carry those pockets of things. Margie is from my home state of Louisiana, and she married at the age of 13.
Ah,
The
just
age of
beautiful.
13. Let's just talk about the age of 13 and you know, just a baby. I mean, 13, getting married. I could not make macaroni and cheese out of a box at 13. I could not. I was playing in mud. I mean, I didn't even know what a boy was, much less being married. And your first child was born when?
5 days would have been a year, like 5 days before. He was born on March 25th, and my first anniversary was April the 1st. So he's getting a picture of me that he found, and he just treasures it because it's a picture of me and him. I was 14. We found it, and I had written on this little girl like Margie Singleton, 4.5 months pregnant with my baby. And here I was at 14 years old. I mean,
Look at that
can
Oh
baby.
my
Look at
word.
her.
Look at
you
that.
see that?
Hmm.
Yes.
Was that a 13-year-old? No, it was a 20-something-year-old looked like, didn't it?
Well, I
Goodness
tell you,
gracious.
right?
Hmm.
That's a beautiful
What?
picture.
Hmm.
He said, "Really, I look so old now because it looks so old. Come get this picture, please."
We're going to have to cut for a commercial break so she can beat him in a minute.
Told the line. I
Hmm.
tell you, I want to show y'all this before. This I treasure. That's my Linda's ashes.
Oh,
That's
that's another thing that people have to grieve in their own way, but
and
sometimes
that's
something
still
as tangible as having ashes that you can wear, that something you can hold on to, it's
Hmm.
important.
Absolutely.
but anyway, back to your question. How did I deal with being a mom? I just, well, like Steve said, I was a bad mom. No, you don't. I was a good mom until they.
You were always a good mom, don't you know?
There you go. See,
Well,
straight from your
I
son's mouth.
had that guilt level, but uh, they were grown and went on in their life when I was gone so much, you know. Uh, but God. Now I want to make it clear when I was talking about church rules and stuff. I believe everything the Bible says. I believe I'm a strong believer, but I don't believe the people's uh, burdens that they interpret that's not anywhere near it. And so I'm trying to keep my soul because I know that we're in the end times. Anybody that's got any sense knows that. And I don't want that trumpet to blow and me not be ready. So that
Oh, well, I think if anybody in this world's ready, it's you, but we don't want you to be,
I mean,
we want to keep you here for as long as we can.
every day, but Lord, He picks me up. I mean, I
Mhm,
know it when I do it.
mhm.
I'll say my tongue, Devin, as you well know, gets me into a lot of trouble.
It's the sword. It's the sword. It gets everybody in trouble. Barbara weighs in, and Barbara says, "You are not the person you were before your mate, or the person you were with them, and finding yourself is a big journey." Great point, Barbara. And
Yes,
Absolutely.
Barbara.
Elizabeth says, "That's so very beautiful and precious. I love that Linda's with you every day like that."
Yes. Yes. Well, and another thing, Margie, to speak to, Barbara had just mentioned, and as you were talking about being a 14-year-old mother, you know, um, I agree with Devin. I think I was making mud pies and sleeping with a nightlight on. I mean, and sometimes I still sleep with a nightlight on. So whatever, judge me.
Yeah, well, I do.
But that is you're not that person that you were then. You have there's beautiful parts of you that are still, I'm sure, free, loving, outgoing, and laughter and all of that. But you did, and I'm sure if we ask you, I'll ask you this: did you do the very best you could do with what you had to do it with? Meaning, yeah,
Mhm.
I'd
absolutely.
like to believe that.
I believe it for you. So
Um,
I'll just keep on believing it for you till you believe it for yourself. How about that? Because
Yeah.
it's true. You have a lifetime of growing and being in the entertainment business and being a mom and being a wife and being a best friend. You have got such a rich, full life that absolutely we're not the same people. I tell when I'm working with young adults, and I will tell them, I'll say, you know, you're not the person at 20 that you're going to be at 30. And trust me, at 30, you're not the same person you're going to be when you're 50. That's what we
Mhm.
do, right? We hold on to our faith, our dreams, our passion, and we keep growing.
hold on to
And
the good stuff and let the rest grow and grab on to what's up there.
Margie, I carry my husband's ashes, Barbara
right.
says, around my neck as well. Between him and God, they guide me and protect
Oh,
me.
how
Isn't
sweet.
that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful?
Then
That
Hmm.
processes.
I have for my bracelet Leon's ashes and one side of it's a cat and one side of it's a dog. He loved animals, so I had him on the bracelet.
Well,
That is
Brian
horrible.
Whitney, who started the Just Plain Folk organization, fabulous music organization, and I suggest get involved with that. He says, if a music question is allowed, here goes. I just listened, he says, to your original Harper Valley PTA. People don't know Margie was the first, you did a version of Harper Valley PTA before Jeannie C. Riley. Was it risky to be the first to do that song?
You know what? I didn't think we things today that are so prevalent and out there, like somebody coming, a guy touching a girl, woman in the. Somebody criticized Titanic Couture on one of the Opry shows that I did, the video shows, because he's talking about my weight. We didn't. I mean, he'd say this pretty girl. If you call a girl pretty today, that's sexual harassment sometimes. I loved it.
Brilliant.
So anyway, you asked me that question. No, it was just a song and I sung it. Tom T. Hall wrote it for me to follow Ode to Billy Joe with, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Also, the person who's the first one to record Ode to Billy Joe.
Well, now, oh gosh, the girl that wrote it and recorded it,
Bobby Gentry.
Bobby Gentry. I never have let her name leave my mind. I'm so grateful that she wrote that song. It was one of my biggest records. I actually encored on the Grand Ole Opry with it 3 times. Joe Rucker found that archived show, and he said, "Did you know you encored on the Grand Ole Opry?" I said, "Well, no, Joe. I know he tells me everything I did because I don't remember." And so, yeah. So Tom T wrote that for me, and I'm so glad Jeannie had the big hit on it. She was a cute little girl, and I was kind of chubby at that time, and so God has me right where He wants me to be. I couldn't have handled that fame, and sometimes I think Jeannie kind of has a thought maybe she didn't. She said that she might not have liked to have that fame had she had a choice. She didn't realize she was going to get that big, and but she handled it well, and she's awesome, and we're good friends. We've never met, but we're good friends. Facebook and the media has brought us together. It has just brought back fans that I didn't even know I had.
Well, you sure got fans in us. Elizabeth says, I'm so thankful we get to grow. Like Teri said, I'm glad we get to learn how to be ourselves with each new season. And I am grateful for you guys all checking in. When I met Margie, she, like I said, she had not cut her hair. It was just hair, and she was wearing long dresses and no makeup, and she was barely getting around. And I'm not talking about you, like you're not here, because you had kind of checked out and said, I'm not singing, I'm just done. And I had you and met you, and it wasn't too long before she's wearing jeans and leather vest.
Look at you in your leather vest. Like she's got a Harley parked outside of the carport.
I think, and she wrote the song for Brooke Benton, Lie to Me, and just blues and groove. And so you can check out and show everybody your walking sticks.
He's my new dance partner, Sebastian LeCain.
Yeah,
he is hiking stick. I have my son Steve. He went and got him for me. He said, "Mom, you throw that walking cane away. You look like an old lady. You get these hiking sticks and you walk with it, and you say, I'm hiking. I'm not. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just hiking."
There you go. See,
but
that's
I do
a shift.
have a balance problem that I need something, and I can't fall and break my hip. If I do, I'm gone.
Well, that is we don't want that for you for sure.
I hit the floor every day. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for letting me wake up this day. 86 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a little bit of a heart issue. My feet and legs swell. I can't walk in a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
But hush.
Elizabeth says Margie played the Heart of Texas Roadshow at the Troubadour this summer with her son. You were wonderful, Margie.
Oh, yes, he did. It was so good, and he won't do it anymore with me. He played Lie to Me. He produced all those things. And did you get that song I sent you there?
Oh, I did. I wanted to make a video of it for this show, but I just didn't have time to do it. It was so good. And I want to tell everybody where they can find your music.
Margie Singleton Music.com or on Spotify, on where's Steve? All the places.
All the places.
And we're working on some good stuff, Devon and Teri. I'm working on one called Hardball.
Oh, I love it.
Hardball. It's going to be
It's
different.
going to be good.
So different.
Well, Margie Singleton is a joy and living proof that you can walk through and get to the other side, right, Teri?
Absolutely. And I am so honored, Margie, that you carved out time to spend with us today because, we are not only fans of yours, we are friends of yours
I know
and
that's true.
just appreciate you so much more than you know.
I'd
And
rather have you as a friend than a fan.
well, you got it. You got it because
I love
we can tell off cuff the
that,
jokes if we're
that one right.
friends like that, right?
This one right here has a piece in my heart, and you're getting a piece over here.
We
One
love
more
you.
bus trip. Hey, one more bus trip.
Yeah. One more bus trip and you'll be there.
We will do
Y'all,
another bus trip, even if it's in my SUV. The three of us will get in there and just go tear up Jack somewhere.
Yes, ma'am. That
How
will make
about
her
that?
quicker.
you guys, we are here every Wednesday for launch date, noon-ish. Today it's my fault. We're late because I was sleepy. I got up. I was in Huntsville with Lee Greenwood, and I got home at 2 a.m. And that sounds bad. Was not like that. It was like
Well,
40,000 of our favorite friends all showing up to be proud to be Americans, and it was an amazing thing. Tape for television. We'll tell you all about that coming up, but.
Yeah.
It was an amazing night, but it made me a little sleepy today, so a little delayed.
Don't
well,
worry
just on a
about it.
side note, if you say I was out and didn't get home till 2 a.m, I was with Lee Greenwood, that actually does not sound bad. So you're all right. You're all right with that. We're just gonna let it. Everybody, just let your minds go
Let
where
it
you want them to
fly.
go. Just
Well,
let your minds go. She was late today because she was, just a little tired from last night.
Yeah, with Lee and his whole family, his beautiful wife Kimberly, and his son, who's getting married this week, and
That's
his
lovely.
new daughter in love to be, and his other son. I mean, it was crazy. It was just a fun,
beautiful
beautiful time.
day.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was.
yes.
Speaking of, want to let Teri close out our show like she always does.
Yes. Well, again, Margie, we appreciate you and we love you beyond words. So thank you so much for being here with us today. We love all the folks that join in and give us feedback
Yes.
and ask questions. And until we see you again next week, folks, have a wonderful day. Create yourself a great day and increase the peace.
I love y'all.